how you doing? I am Chef Jay, and this is Culinary Creations. Well, that time of the year is here, Valentine's Day, romance, love, everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make some nice, romantic, sexy dishes that will be great for Valentine's Day or any day you want to have a nice meal. Today we're going to do a pan-seared, herb-crusted ahi tuna, along with a nice, wonderful, creamy, rich risotto with tomatoes and parsley. We're going to get this going right now, so make sure that if this is going to be your special dish for Valentine's Day, you don't let the other person know that you're making it.
Chef Jay brings you another exciting episode of Culinary Creations. Today's episode, herb-crusted ahi tuna with tomato and parsley risotto.
So the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get our pan nice and hot. It's ahi tuna. You get very nice tuna steaks. They're really good. They don't require a lot of cooking. Tuna. We're going to put a little bit of salt. Put a little bit of pepper. Okay. And you want to do this on both sides. Is we want to take our pie pan that we have our seasonings in, and we want to make sure that we coat all sides. So you just give it a nice light tap. Okay. There you go. And you want to do the same on that side. Okay. Now I like to leave this part open because it looks really nice. It's a nice contrast. You want to tap off any excess because you don't want it to be a whole lot. Keep in mind, your tuna is not going to cook for a long time. Okay? You want to do your next tuna steak. Have our crust that we put on. We want to make sure that we leave a little line there. Okay, while our pan is getting hot to sear our tuna in, I'm going to start the risotto. This is a little bit of a process, but it's great. What we're doing is we're using arborio rice, okay? And arborio rice is a very starchy rice. So what's going to happen here is during the cooking process, we want those starches to come out. We want it to be very creamy. We want it to be very rich. So what I'm going to do first off to start our risotto is in my hot pan, I'm going to add some olive oil, okay? And right to that, I'm going to add in my risotto, okay? My arborio rice, all right? Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to constantly stir this, okay? Once I get those grains of rice coated with olive oil, okay, and it's nice and hot, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ladle in about 1 or 2 ladles full of stock. So our risotto is to the point where it's ready for me to add in my stock. For this you can use either vegetable stock or chicken stock. It's up to you. What you're going to do is you want to have a ladle for this, or you want to have something that you can, get an equal amount every time. You want to add this in nice and slow. The thing is, once you add it in, you got to keep stirring it. Stirring, stirring, stirring. That's going to keep the starches building. My pan, you don't want your pan on a super high fire for the tuna. You want to make sure it's like at a medium. And when it gets nice and hot, then you want to put it in because you don't want to burn those herbs that are on the outside. So until I get to that point, I'm going to take 1 ladle of stock and add it in. As you can hear, nice and hot. Okay. Now the thing is with risotto, it's not like when you're making a regular rice, okay? You want to make sure that once you start the process, that you continue the process. You want to make sure that what's going to happen is when you're stirring the arborio rice with your stock, it's going to absorb the stock, okay? You want it to absorb the stock because that's what's actually cooking it. Okay, so we've added a few ladles of our stock into our risotto, and it's coming along nicely. It's nice and creamy. You want to, before you put in the next addition, you want all that stock from the first one to be pretty much gone. Okay? So when you look at the risotto, you'll see it'll start to bulk up, as well as you'll feel it getting a little softer, and you'll see the creaminess building up in the risotto. Okay? You don't want to add in, what we're going to do is we're going to have tomato and we're going to have some parsley that's going in there. You don't want to add that in now because it'll be all mush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some olive oil into it. We're not deep frying our tuna. We just want to lightly pan sear it. Okay? We want to get our tuna in the pan. And we want to let that cook for about 3 to 5 minutes on either side. After 5 minutes, you just want to make sure that you will see a little line going up the side of the tuna. All right, so as you can see, the tuna, there's a line that's going up the tuna. That's the tuna cooking. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it over to the other side. Okay, so we flipped over our tuna. As you can see, our herbs are nice. They're not burnt because we did not have the fire up really high. I flipped it over, and these are ready. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take them off and sit them on a plate for right now until my risotto is all done. Okay, so my tuna is out, and I have a beautiful pan with some nice pan drippings in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a little sauce for our tuna. Okay, you want to reduce your flame down to maybe about medium low. Okay, you want to make sure that your pan is hot, not smoking hot, but you want to make sure that it is hot. What we're going to do is we're going to take some balsamic, okay, and you can use any type of balsamic. There are so many different types out there. Okay, so we have our balsamic vinegar, which we are going to reduce. As you can see, that balsamic vinegar is starting to get a lot thicker. What we're going to do is some of those herbs that we used when we crusted our tuna, we're going to add that in there. So, all the components are made for our dish. You want to impress the person that you're giving this to. You don't want it just to seem like you just threw something together and slapped it on a plate. So what I'm going to do is show you a nice little plating technique that'll, help it make it look nice. First thing we're going to do is, we talked about a ring mold. What I have here is a small little brulee cup. What you want to do is you want to take out your risotto first, and you want to just put some into your brulee cup. You want a nice little portion in here. You want to make sure it's even all the way around. Okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to have your plate ready. Now, the other big thing when it comes to plating, and I'm keeping my balsamic vinegar reduction nice and warm over here, so that way it doesn't get tight. You want to take your plate, make sure you have a nice clean plate. You want to take your risotto, and you just want to turn it upside down on the plate, and you want to unmold it, okay? So now you have a nice little mold of risotto there, okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to take one of your tuna steaks, and you just want to place it right there on the plate, okay? After you do that, you want to have a spoon, and you want to take some of your nice balsamic reduction that you made, and you just want to drizzle that around the plate, okay? And there's the dish, wild ahi tuna with tomato and parsley risotto and a balsamic reduction.
Your ingredients are 2 wild ahi tuna steaks, 1/4 cup dried thyme, dried parsley, dried oregano, dried savory, a 1/2 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, and olive oil. For risotto, you will need a 1/2 cup of arborio rice, 4 cups of stock, vegetable or chicken, 1/2 cup of chopped tomato, half a cup of chopped parsley, and a half a cup of Parmesan cheese grated.